Okay, on to question 3. Select the detail that shows that Alice prefers to avoid conflict with the Queen. So we need a detail that shows that she prefers to avoid conflict with the Queen. Okay, so I think we need to look at the context. We can see that that's paragraphs 6, 7, 8, and 9. So let's look at kind of 4 and 5 and see what was going on. So here they were talking about the curtsy. We had just looked at that in the last question. It's time for you to answer now, said the Queen, looking at her watch. Open your mouth a little wider when you speak and always say, Your Majesty. So we're back up at this question. Where did you come from and where are you going? So she needed to answer that question. I only wanted to see what the garden was like, Your Majesty. That's right, said the Queen, patting her on the head, which Alice didn't like at all. Though when you say garden, I've seen gardens compared with which this would be a wilderness. Alice didn't dare to argue the point, but went on, and I thought I'd try to find my way to the top of that hill. When you say hill, the Queen interrupted, I could show you hills in comparison with which you would call a valley. So here's, we talked about this in the earlier question. So these all kind of go together. Here they see the natural world very differently. Right? They have very different points of view as far as the way things should be and the way things are there. But she wants to avoid conflict. So here we can see that the Queen is kind of arguing with her, but that's not showing her. Whoops, I didn't mean to mark that for review. So this one won't let me use answer eliminator, and that's okay. So here the Queen's arguing, but that's not showing that she's trying to avoid conflict. Same thing here. It's the Queen talking and patting her on the head, but it's not showing Alice doing anything, especially she's not trying to avoid conflict there. So we have these two left. I only wanted to see what the garden was like, Your Majesty. So there she is kind of trying to pacify her, try to explain herself. But here it says Alice didn't dare to argue the point. Here she makes a conscious choice not to argue, even though she disagrees. So that's going to be the answer. So I click on it and I have selected it. And now you can see the little check mark. Question 3 is done. And I'm ready to move on to question 4.